starting with 1 million luck points. Chapter 136, Target. As for the participants from the other cities, they all looked at Zhou Hao, who was ranked first on the scoreboard, and thought to themselves, so this guy's name is Zhou Hao. Humph, I'll have to find a chance to get rid of him later. These guys from Chu City High School are really stupid. They actually exposed the name of the person who got first place in their class. Ji Yufan originally did not think much of Zhou Hao, who was lucky enough to get first place. However, he noticed that Zhou Hao seemed to be very close to Su Ling. Moreover, they seemed a little too intimate. He immediately made up his mind to eliminate Zhou Hao. At this moment, an ear-piercing sound sounded from the screen on everyone's arms. The second stage of the competition has begun. Every participant will be immediately sent into an iron cage. Inside, if you're unlucky, you might encounter other participants, and only one person can advance from the iron cage. Therefore, participants, pray that you don't encounter any other participants. By the way, by eliminating the other participants, you will get 60% of their points. All the best. The ear-piercing sound echoed. Swoosh. 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 Before all the participants could react, their bodies were suddenly enveloped by a force. Immediately after, they realized that they were in an iron cage. Zhou Hao. A pleasantly surprised voice quickly sounded in Zhou Hao's ear. Zhou Hao turned around and saw a participant staring at him excitedly. Ha ha ha, I really can't stop my luck now that it's here. I didn't expect to encounter the first place on the points rankings at the start of the second round. Looks like I'll be able to get free points. Before this participant could celebrate for long, a saber beam appeared in his eyes, and his figure disappeared completely. An additional 120 points appeared on the screen on Zhou Hao's arm. This guy got quite a lot of points. It seems like he killed 20 intermediate-level demon warriors, he muttered as he sized up the other party in the iron cage. At this moment, the iron cage opened with a click. Seeing that there were no other mechanisms, Zhou Hao directly walked out. The first participant completed the second-level mission in 9 seconds. Reward, 1000 points. The screen announcement sounded again. Many participants who were facing each other in the iron cage subconsciously glanced at the points rankings to see who was so lucky. However, when they saw that Zhou Hao, who was ranked first, had gained another 120 points, they were all stunned. Damn, it's Zhou Hao again. It only took him 9 seconds to increase his points by 120. Does that mean he killed the other participant in 9 seconds? Zhou Hao was the first to complete both missions. It's likely that he'll end up being first place in the competition. I didn't expect Chu City High School to have someone like Zhou Hao other than the lucky Su Ling. Many participants were not stupid. After seeing the points Zhou Hao had gained, they all understood that Zhou Hao had to have true strength to be able to complete the mission so quickly. After all, Zhou Hao had gained an additional 100+ points. According to the rules, the participants Zhou Hao killed must have been at least an intermediate-level martial artist or even a high-level martial artist. The participants of Chu City's high school training class were all stunned. They had not expected that Zhou Hao would be the first to complete the second stage of the competition. Zhou Hao is no longer the same Zhou Hao from before. Things are different now. I didn't expect Zhou Hao, who used to always be ranked in last place, to become the pride of our Chu City High School. Instructor Shen once said that Zhou Hao has combat talent. Looks like Instructor Shen is right. He's clearly only at the martial artist level, but his strength is probably comparable to a high-level martial artist. Su Ling and Zhang Yi were even more excited. He's going to get the spot for sure. They were sincerely happy for Zhou Hao's impressive results. Click, click, click. 10 minutes passed. The iron cages of the second stage were all opened, and many competitors covered in blood walked out. When all the participants gathered together, their gazes simultaneously gathered on the spotless Zhou Hao. Ji Yufan narrowed his eyes. When he saw that Su Ling's entire body was almost touching Zhou Hao's shoulder, the killing intent in his heart became stronger. Su Ling's ice muscle body was basically the perfect match for his fire body. He would definitely not allow anyone to taint Su Ling. Chapter 137, Provocation. I better pray that you don't bump into me. Ji Yufan snorted coldly in his heart. Zhou Hao swept his gaze over Ji Yufan. With his powerful awareness, he naturally had long noticed that something was wrong with Ji Yufan, but he did not care. The final stage of the competition is about to begin. This stage will be a fight against time. In a while, every participant will be placed outside a circular plaza. There will be more than 10,000 low-level demon generals around the plaza. Your mission is to arrive at the center of the square, a safety area with a radius of 2 meters. Whoever is the first to arrive will be rewarded with 5,000 points. Boom. With a deafening sound, the remaining less than 500 participants disappeared. When they appeared again, they had already arrived at a circular plaza with a diameter of 10,000 meters. Roar! 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 Just as Zhou Hao and the others regained their senses, they heard a large number of beast roars at the edge of the plaza. Many participants turned around and were so frightened that their souls flew away. They saw a large number of low-level demon generals staring at them thirstily. The countdown begins. 10. 7. As the countdown reached 5, the invisible barrier at the edge of the plaza disappeared. More than 10,000 low-level demon generals rushed out crazily. Damn, wasn't the countdown supposed to reach 0? Damn, how scammy. Some participants who were still making preparations were unable to react in time at all. When they saw the demon beasts rushing over, they all cursed. However, it was already too late for them to escape. They were directly torn into pieces of meat by the demon beasts. Only 100 or so participants rushed crazily towards the center of the plaza when the countdown began. However, the speed of the low-level demon generals far exceeded theirs. Run! Damn it, how could we possibly outrun a demon general? The designer must have been kicked in the head by a donkey. I can't take it anymore. Brothers, see you on the other side. In just more than 10 seconds, the more than 30 participants who were left behind were caught up by more than 10,000 demon generals, and their bodies gradually disappeared. Zhou Hao, grab my hand. As a master-level expert, Su Ling was extremely fast. She discovered Zhou Hao the moment she started running and quickly approached him. Zhou Hao did not hesitate at all and grabbed Su Ling's hand. Don't leave Zhang Yi behind. Zhou Hao had sharp eyes and saw that Zhang Yi was already at the back. Su Ling nodded and slowed down. At the same time, she rushed towards Zhang Yi with Zhou Hao. Seeing that the demon general was about to bite Zhang Yi, Zhou Hao directly struggled free from Su Ling's hand and ran in the opposite direction. He seized the opportunity and slashed diagonally. Puchi! With the help of his high speed, the saber directly cut off the heads of the 2 demon generals that were trying to bite Zhang Yi. Beautiful! Su Ling couldn't help but praise. When Yuan Chang, Yun Yan, and the other Yanjing geniuses saw this, they could not help but exclaim, what a good timing. If you were just a little bit slower, Zhang Yi would be done for. Zhou Hao ignored the surrounding gazes and shouted, Zhang Yi! Zhang Yi suddenly exerted strength in his feet and his body bounced out like a spring. Zhou Hao quickly stretched out his hand and grabbed Zhang Yi's hand. Su Ling also retreated and grabbed Zhou Hao's hand again. Let's charge together. Haha, let's charge together. The 3 of them laughed. The remaining 60+ participants revealed envious eyes when they saw this. At such a critical moment, the 3 of them still did not forget each other. They were definitely friends who could depend on each other. Ji Yufan, who was charging at the front, was furious. Especially when he saw Su Ling and Zhou Hao intertwine their fingers, he gritted his teeth so hard that they almost cracked. Bang! He suddenly stopped in his tracks and quickly retreated. In just 5 to 6 seconds, Ji Yufan got close and ran alongside Zhou Hao, Su Ling, and Zhang Yi. Su Ling, you have an ice muscle body and are destined to be with a fire body like mine. Our special physiques can perfectly stimulate each other. Ji Yufan said coldly. Su Ling frowned. Zhou Hao said bluntly, who are you? Frog in the well. I'm from the Ji family and have inherited a supernatural physique. I have the fire body and will even activate the fire god body in the future and become an expert among supernatural experts. Ji Yufan snorted disdainfully. I advise you to stay away from Su Ling. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Zhou Hao said angrily, are you crazy? We don't even know you. Get lost. Don't get in our way. Bang. Ji Yufan could not be bothered to waste his breath on an ordinary person like Zhou Hao. He directly stabbed out with his spear. Chapter 138, A Difficult Decision. Be careful. Su Ling sensed Ji Yufan's movements and shouted anxiously. However, the spear attack that was comparable to a Grandmaster's attack was too fast. Su Ling only had time to warn Zhou Hao and did not have the time to block the attack. Ji Yufan looked at Zhou Hao, who did not have any reaction, and the disdain on his face became stronger. He wondered if someone with such strength was even worthy of competing with him for the ice muscle body. Chi! Just as the tip of the spear was about to stab into Zhou Hao's chest, Zhou Hao moved his foot and lightly swung his left shoulder. The tip of the spear brushed past the clothes on Zhou Hao's chest and missed him. How is this possible? He actually dodged it? How did Zhou Hao do it? Not far away, Yuan Cheng, Yun Yan, and the others, who were running with all their might, were actually paying attention to Zhou Hao and the others. After all, a special physique genius like Ji Yufan was too eye-catching. Therefore, when they saw that Zhou Hao had actually dodged Ji Yufan's attack, their faces revealed shock. It had to be known that even they did not have the confidence to dodge Ji Yufan's attack. Even Su Ling, who had reached the master level, could only remind Zhou Hao anxiously. Although Zhou Hao's performance in the previous 2 stages was shocking, Yuan Cheng, Yun Yan, and the others did not believe that Zhou Hao already had the strength to contend with Ji Yufan. But the truth was right in front of them. Could the peerless genius hidden in the school be Zhou Hao? This thought appeared in Yuan Cheng and Yun Yan's minds at the same time. However, they quickly shook their heads. They really could not bring themselves to believe that Zhou Hao was the peerless genius who had used a shocking saber move and killed a Grandmaster-level expert of the Dark Gods with peerless combat strength. Ji Yufan was stunned for a moment before his expression darkened. You actually dared to dodge. Zhou Hao smiled coldly. What? You're trying to kill me, but I'm not allowed to dodge. This is the first time I've met such an arrogant guy like you. With that said, he quickly stretched out his palm, grabbed the spear Ji Yufan had thrust out, and pulled forcefully. Ji Yufan and the spear immediately rushed to Zhou Hao's side as they were carried by the momentum of the attack. Bang! Zhou Hao casually kicked out, and Ji Yufan's body was like a kite with a broken string as he was quickly sent flying and smashed into the tens of thousands of demon generals that pounced over from behind. Pu! 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 Ji Yufan went into a frenzy. He waved the spear in his hand with his full strength and killed the demon generals one after another. However, there were too many demon generals, and they drowned him in a few seconds. Before he was disqualified, he shouted angrily, Zhou Hao, just you wait. When I meet you at the training camp, your life will be ruined. Zhou Hao did not care at all about Ji Yufan's threat. Ah! At this moment, the demon generals were getting even faster. The 40-plus participants who were left behind were all torn to pieces and disappeared from the virtual environment plaza. Seeing that the 10,000 demon generals were about to catch up to Zhou Hao and the others, Yuan Cheng and Yun Yan, who were ahead, gritted their teeth and paused for a moment. Then, their figures immediately fell behind. Fang Yu, Lei Jinpeng, and the other two were stunned for a moment before they pondered for a moment and quickly slowed down. Soon, the five of them were running alongside Zhou Hao and the other two. Su Ling, grab our hands. Yuan Cheng and Yun Yan shouted. Yuan Cheng, Yun Yan. Thank you. How could Su Ling not be able to tell that Yuan Cheng and the others were trying to help them? Slap. 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 Almost instantly, the 8 people's palms connected. Charge. They used all their strength to sprint. Although the strengths of the 8 people were different, under the situation where they were united, they suddenly exploded with an extremely fast speed. The remaining dozen or so participants were quickly surpassed by the 8 of them. 7 to 8 seconds passed, and another 6 participants were eliminated. At this moment, there were still 14 participants left in the plaza. Among them, there were 8 from Chu City High School and 4 from the Yanjing training camp. The remaining 2 geniuses were from the other cities. Hurry up, we're almost there. The 2-meter safe area was very close to them, but the expressions of Yuan Cheng, Yun Yan, and the others changed slightly. This was because the safety area was 2 meters wide and could not accommodate 8 people. At most, only 5 people could squeeze in. Who's going in and who's staying out? Facing the choice, the 8 of them stood at the edge of the safe area, their expressions flickering. After all, they knew very well that once they were disqualified, it was very likely that they would lose the opportunity to join the global elite training camp. If they missed this opportunity that could change their lives, they would regret it for the rest of their lives. Chapter 139, Me. A Peerless Genius? Yuan Cheng, Yun Yan, the 5 of you should go in quickly. If not for your help just now, we wouldn't have been able to get here. Su Ling suddenly said. Yuan Cheng, Yun Yan, Fang Yu, and the other Yanjing geniuses were all stunned. Su Ling. Su Ling waved her hand and interrupted, hurry up, stop hesitating. Yuan Cheng, Yun Yan, and the others said in unison, thank you. Bang. 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 The remaining 6 people were quickly killed by the demon generals, and the 10,000 demon generals were about to reach the edge of the safe area. Seeing this, Yuan Cheng, Yun Yan, and the others standing in the safe area looked at each other before leaving the safe area one after another to stand together with Zhou Hao, Su Ling, and Zhang Yi. Su Ling and the other 2 were stunned. Yuan Cheng smiled and said, if you guys are going to die, then we'll all die together. Yun Yan flicked the hair that fell from her forehead and nodded. Yes, we're all from Chu City's high school. Training class. Naturally, we have to stick together. Fang Yu looked at Su Ling. I was wrong in the past. I hope you can forgive me. The remaining Lei Jinpeng and the other Yanjing genius did not say a word. However, the fact that they were willing to leave the circle showed that they also felt the same way. Slap. Slap. Su Ling held Yun Yan's hand, and Yun Yan held Yuan Cheng's. The 8 of them held hands again. If we die, we die together. Their voices were loud and firm. Roar. Roar. Just as the 10,000 demon generals were about to drown the 8 of them, an ear-piercing voice sounded from the screen on their arms. Congratulations on meeting the hidden condition of the 3rd stage of the competition. All of you will be rewarded with 3,000 points for overcoming the crisis together. At the same time, the 10,000 demon generals disappeared. Only Zhou Hao, Su Ling, and the other Chu City High School students were left in the square. We weren't eliminated and even met a hidden condition. Yuan Cheng, Yun Yan, and the others were all dumbfounded. Zhou Hao smiled. In the face of the foreign races, we humans naturally have to work together to overcome the difficulties. I believe that was also the real objective of the third stage. Yuan Chen, Yun Yan, and the others came to a realization. That's right. Over the past 100 years, if not for the humans of Earth working together to resist wave after wave of attacks from the foreign races, they would have long been enslaved. Look at the total points rankings. Our numbers are all ranked in the front. Fang Yu exclaimed. Swoosh. Swoosh. Su Ling, Zhang Yi, and the others hurriedly looked at the arm screen. As expected, Zhang Yi, Fang Yu, Lei Jinpeng, and the others, who were originally behind in points, jumped into the top 10. After all, the reward for the third stage alone was 3,000 points. Haha, that's great. This time, the 8 of us will all be able to enter the global elite training camp together. We can even choose our room numbers at will. In other words, the 8 of us will still be able to live next to each other. Yuan Chen, Yun Yan, and the others were all pleasantly surprised. Zhou Hao also smiled. In fact, before this, Zhou Hao wasn't really fond of Yuan Chen, Yun Yan, and the other Yanjing geniuses. He especially disliked Fang Yu and Lei Jinpeng. However, after what just happened just now, his understanding of them had changed slightly. Confronted with more than 10,000 demon generals, not only were they willing to fall behind to help the 3 of them, but they even left the safe area to die together. Such people were worth befriending. The competition for the Global Elite Training Camp has officially ended. Congratulations to the students ranked in the top 60 for obtaining the qualification to enter the Global Elite Training Camp. Please arrive at the frontline fortress base of the Spatial Rift in half a month. At that time, we will have special personnel to welcome you. An ear-piercing sound spread throughout the entire square and spread out through the virtual cabin. The virtual environment is about to close. Countdown 10. In the 10 seconds of the countdown, Yuan Chen, Yun Yan, and the others looked at Zhou Hao and couldn't help but ask, Zhou Hao, are you the hidden peerless genius of the school? Zhou Hao's heart skipped a beat, but his expression did not change. He pretended to be surprised and pointed at himself. Me? A peerless genius. Bang. Su Ling, who was beside him, kicked Zhou Hao and curled her lips. How could he be a peerless genius? Yuan Chen, Yun Yan, don't be fooled. Zhang Yi and I have seen him dodge attacks before. It's quite normal for him to have dodged Ji Yufan's attack. Yuan Chen, Yun Yan, and the others looked at Zhang Yi suspiciously. Chapter 140, The Strong Are Respected. Zhang Yi nodded. That's right. When we were searching for rare resources in the wilderness, we saw him use such a movement technique. It seemed to be some kind of short-distance dodge. It's a minute subtlety movement technique. Zhou Hao said angrily. Yes, that's the name. Zhang Yi scratched his head. Yuan Chen, Yun Yan, and the others asked curiously, minute subtlety movement technique. Zhou Hao smiled and said, this is a relatively high-level dodging technique. I figured it out myself. When we leave later, you can ask Instructor Shen to see if he can tell you guys anything about it. To be honest, I don't even know much about it myself. I rely entirely on my intuition. Alright, we'll ask Instructor Shen. In the focused training class, Zhou Hao and the others left the virtual cabin and saw many students in the class staring at them enviously. Congratulations. Top 10. I'm so envious. That's right. You guys are the pride of our Chu City High School for being able to enter the top 10 together. Slap. 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 A round of applause sounded. Although the students of the training class were envious, they were still sincerely happy for Zhou Hao, Su Ling, and the others. After all, the 8 of them had made it to the top 10 of the Global Elite Training Camp. Without a doubt, Chu City High School, which had stolen the limelight, would now become the center of attention. Obviously, these eliminated students would also benefit from the fame. Principal Zheng and the others standing in front were also excited. Even Instructor Shen, who rarely showed his emotions, revealed an excited expression. For the Chu City High School's focused training class to suddenly have 8 top 10 students from the training camp, this meant that Shenjing had picked the right students. Moreover, the moment the results were announced, head instructor Cheng from Yanjing City sent him a congratulatory message. A moment later, Shenjing went out to answer a call. When he returned, the excitement on his face became even stronger. He raised his palm and pressed it into the air. Silence. Soon, the voices in the training room disappeared. Shenjing swept his gaze around and smiled. First of all, congratulations to Yuan Chen, Yun Yan, Su Ling, Fang Yu, Lei Jinpeng, Wang Shuo, Zhou Hao, and Zhang Yi. Not only did they obtain the spot for the Global Elite Training Camp, but they also obtained outstanding results in the top 10. Slap. 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 Another round of intense applause sounded. Shenjing smiled and pressed his palm down again before continuing. Secondly, the other students who have been disqualified from our class, don't be discouraged. Just now, I received news that because of our class's outstanding performance this time, the city will establish a special training camp, and everyone in our class can enter. The special training camp this time is different from the focused training class. In terms of resources, it's even better than the Yanjing training camp. More importantly, the Global Elite Training Camp will provide extra spots for us next year. As soon as he said this, the students in the focused training class who had been eliminated let out thunderous cheers. Shenjing added, lastly, I'll tell you another piece of good news. For the next half a month, all of you will be on break. Damn, Instructor Shen, you're too kind. Long live Instructor Shen. Half a month off, thank you Instructor Shen. One by one, the students were excited and their voices shook the sky. In the Supernatural building, the total points rankings were displayed on the wide electronic screen in front of the higher UPS of the Supernatural Council. Wang and the other Supernatural experts frowned. Senior Shi, isn't this result too ridiculous? That's right. Su Ling and Ji Yufan, 2 geniuses with special physiques at the master level, didn't even make it to the top 3. If news of this gets out, I'm afraid the other training camps will laugh at us. I've specially asked around just now. This Zhou Hao who is ranked first is currently only at the level of a martial artist. Moreover, just a while ago, he was only an ordinary first-level blood essence student. Several supernatural experts spoke up. Shi Ji glanced at them indifferently. Although I am the one who made adjustments to the 3 stages of the assessment at the last minute, tell me, which of the 3 stages are problematic? Wang, Han Pu, and the other supernatural experts immediately fell silent. The 3 stages set by Senior Shi were all based on reality. It tested the comprehensive data of the participants. This was especially true for the last stage. They all agreed with it. Points are everything. Shi Ji snorted. Don't think I don't know what you guys are thinking. In this assessment, I cancelled the recommendation privileges that have always been implemented by the other training camps. Because of this, many cities didn't even get a single slot. The high-level military personnel of these cities should be displeased, right? At this point, his voice became cold. So what if they aren't pleased? Whether it's in the training camp or in the foreign race battlefield, the strong are the most respected. They should rely on strength and not connection to get the spots. Tell them that if they want to get more spots, they should focus on increasing the strength of the future generation in the city.